So, you got your groceries all put away. Are you happy? Or is your life in order now, Keith? You got everything organized?
No, I'm actually very upset. They changed everything at the grocery store, and I didn't know where anything was, and it took me an hour and a half to make groceries.
They do it on purpose. You know they do. They try to lock you in there. That's why they don't put clocks on the walls.
You're now of the age where they switch your grocery store and it pisses you off. That's the age you've reached, Keith. Congratulations. You're now an old fuddy-duddy.
Maybe he's at the age where they didn't shift anything around. He's just getting old.
That is possible. Jesus. When you said something to people, did they look at you like you were crazy and go, oh, what do you mean?
No, I didn't say anything because I'm a male and toxic, and God damn it, I'm gonna do it on my own.
I'm not asking for directions, even if there's a little map. I don't want to look at it. You got those placards hanging that tell me where the toilet paper is? I'm not even fucking looking. I'm a man.
He covered it up with a shirt.
I'm not even joking. I barely looked at signage because they're in the process of still changing it. So that's but thus, because of my stubbornness, it took me an hour and a half to get groceries, which usually takes me like maybe 30 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so that's my day so far. How are you?
We were discussing how amazing it is that we don't have to work tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
For the listeners, we record some of these ahead of time. This is right before Labor Day, so we are enjoying the fact that we don't have to work tomorrow because we're recording on Sunday, and tomorrow's Labor Day. And I guess we're fortunate enough because a lot of people, even if it's Labor Day, a lot of people still have to go to work. So it's the irony of Labor Day that it's supposed to be for the laborers, but only the middle class and higher people are the ones that are more likely to get those days off instead of the laborers. You know?
I saw a post that was like HR put a poster on their door saying we'll be closed for Labor Day, and somebody slapped a sticky note saying, "What about the rest of us?"
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right. Like HR is doing a lot of. I mean, there's mental labor and emotional labor. There's physical labor. I get it. Like a lot of jobs are nowhere near as easy as they might look from the outside, but there's no denying that the more money you make, the more likely you are to get the day that is designed to give people that are making less money the day off.
Yep.
But anyways, welcome to Screen Share and Chill.
Where we talk about movies.
Are we cutting out?
We're all here.
Okay,
we're
good.
waiting for you to announce your name. Who are you?
This is the intermission.
Person?
You're supposed to be in charge of these, remember? Like
Look, man.
Hey, you're coming out here with the fragile masculinity. I wanted to give you the right, go ahead, dude. Be a man. Take charge.
All right, dude.
You tell us what our names are.
All right, dudes. We're Screen Share and Chill. Welcome, everybody. I'm Keith.
And I'm Kelly.
And I'm Jamie.
And we should clap. Let's
do
clap
that,
in
yeah.
on 3, 2, 1.
I don't know what the hell is going on.
You were so late.
Yeah, both of you were late.
I was right on time. I called it out. How the fuck could you say I was late?
We've got the same energy that we ended D&D with last night. Listeners, we played D&D the night before and had a great... It was a very stressful game, so today we're bursting at the seams to try to yell at each other and make as many jokes as possible, because we couldn't last night. It was too dire.
Yes. Well, welcome to this intermission. A brief, pause. Well, we're going to try and be brief. I really am. I'm going to try and wrangle this in because we're talking about a subject that I love.
Me too.
Well, I'll help because I have very few notes, so.
Kelly, why don't you tell us what spurned this on, your recent trip to the cinema?
Yeah, so I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and as such, as a little kid in the 80s, I was madly enthralled by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're like the last toy that I really got into before I kind of grew into, teenage angst and liking The Cure and stuff like that. So I loved the first movie when it came out in 1990. And they were doing a re-release of it this summer, and they were re-releasing it with some added deleted scenes or some commentary or something. I wasn't exactly sure what they were adding. I didn't care. I was in line, went to see it. It was at the theater nearby, and they kind of threw it into one of their cheap theaters, so it didn't have the surround sound and the heavy bass. It was just, honestly, it was much like watching the movie at home, and functionally, I probably would have had a better time just watching it on my own system because I have it on DVD and such. But I wanted to support the movie and pay for seeing these kind of things come out a little bit because I know it's corporatized and yada yada, but this is one of the ones that I really, really loved. So I went out and I saw it. And when I told Keith and Jamie about it, we discussed having a little sit down and talk about it. Not a full movie review. We're not going to go through the good, bad, and the ugly like we do the other movies. But yeah, we've decided we'll talk about it a little bit. And Keith, I know you had seen it, but Jamie, had you never seen this before?
Oh no, I've definitely seen it.
Okay.
I think that my experience with it is a little different than you guys though, because like I saw it as babysitting. Yeah.
I have the same thing as Kelly. Not to interrupt you, but you're kind of the odd man out on this one, so to speak, because I had the same experience as Kelly. I'm a little younger than him, but I still grew up in the 80s and early 90s, and so before I became a Star Wars guy around 9 or 10, first it was Ghostbusters that I was absolutely obsessed with, and then it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I got big into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon that Christmas that it came out. My family all got together because I loved it so much, and everybody bought me one of the action figures, and my parents bought me the sewer play set. And it was
my God, that's awesome! Getting the whole shebang for Christmas of the thing you were favorite. Oh, I had that one year with Silverhawks, and it was one of the best Christmases ever. So I hear that
exactly. Yeah, it was one of those things, and then so I go and see this movie in the theaters, and I'm blown away because I think I was either 8 or 9, and just like this movie is shockingly like dark and violent for something that for little kids. Cause we'll get into that a little bit more and explain that, but it blew my mind open, and I was like, wow, this movie fucking rules. So I have loved this movie since I first laid eyes on it. But
it's hard to be objective with this because it matters so much to my childhood. But so Jamie, we both been like talking all over you because we're so excited. But tell us your history with the Turtles movie.
So my history with it is watching it repeatedly when I watched my nephew on Saturday nights while his parents were bowling.
Lucky.
So,
I was going to say that changes the context of it because then it just it's like Frozen or something like that. Like, oh, it's the Turtles theme again. Cowabunga.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So watching it today, I realized that yes, my fondness of it is nowhere near as high as yours is. So.
Oh, shell shock.
Well, that's okay. We have more than enough to go around. I'm sure.
Yeah. Our two thumbs will count as a little bit more because they're like 1.3 because they're sticking up. So I'm gonna let that whole line of sentence.
Why do you do this?
Anyways, so we're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, let me. You sounded drunk when you said that. Are you okay? Are things all right at home? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is a good movie.
Too much excitement.
I've only had one cup of coffee so far, so it's like my engine is not completely warmed up all the way. Give it like 10 minutes.
Let me set the scene a little bit back to what I was talking about earlier. So it's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles started as an indie sort of mock comic book. It was kind of mocking Daredevil. Essentially, it takes place in the same world as Daredevil. The same radioactive goo that hit Matt Murdock in the head then rolled into the sewers and fell on the Turtles. And so there were these black and white sort of indie sort of spoof comics, but they were ultra violent. Like the Turtles chopped people's heads off and shit. And so that got big, and they signed movie rights, and they signed TV show rights, and the TV show rights got wrapped up in a toy deal, and so, they're like, okay, we're going to aim this at kids. Meanwhile, the movie rights were based on this ultraviolet comic book, and we're going through the process at the same time that the cartoon was, like, exploding, and so by the time the movie comes to market, they changed their bandanas to the multicolors because the originals they all had red bandanas. They changed their bandanas to multicolors to match the cartoon, but the plot is still lifted like directly from the comic books where people get their fucking asses beat and like sharp edged weapons are used, fucking lots of actual martial arts stuff, and so there's this kind of weird disconnect where it just like like all the kids who were watching this cartoon go to see this movie.
Well,
and,
you
like,
think about it. Who
you know.
are the Foot Clan? They're recruiting teenagers off the streets of New York. So the Turtles are slashing up teenagers. They're just slaughtering dozens of 17 and 18-year-olds in the streets of New York. Cowabunga,
Wait, was
dude.
it written by an old man that's like, get off my lawn, and that's what, like, it's this little fever dream?
I'll show those fucking kids.
All teenagers are violent. So it like dovetailed into these two things, you know, of like, you have this super gritty violent movie that's hitting right as the cartoon is at its like height of power, and it's so interesting, but I'm so glad that it happened because I love this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I was so enamored with this movie when it came out. And first off, on the colored headbands, I just want to touch on that. The colored headbands, great idea. It helps us all differentiate between them, even though in the original comics they had slightly different facial, you know what I'm saying? They kind of looked a little bit different.
And I mean, they all have different weapons.
Yeah,
You can
different
tell them
weapons,
by
different
that, but
personalities. So, I mean, once you get to know them, like if I went back and watched the single color bandanas, it wouldn't be hard for me as an already fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It wouldn't be hard for me to pick up on what's going on. But for the younger kids and for new viewers, yeah, absolutely. But little kid me was so enamored with this movie that I grew up in Detroit and I decided to start exploring the sewers next to my house. And, listeners will remember that I told a story a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago. I don't know, but it was, where I snuck into an abandoned church. And one of the things I found in there was a sewer opening that I could get into, and that led me to finding other sewer openings in my neighborhood, and there was one right behind my house because we had alleyways in Detroit. So in the alleyway behind my house, there was a sewer opening. And obviously it was really, really heavy, so like, I don't know, if I was 10 years old or something like that, I could barely do anything with it, but with crowbar and a little bit of leverage, you'd be surprised what you can pull off.
And a little bit of chutzpah. Yeah.
And I snuck into the sewers, and I would take like a backpack with like, pen and paper and a magnifying glass and a flashlight, everything that an adventuring boy needs, of course. And there were a couple times where I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to drag this out too long, but I almost died a couple times in those sewers by falling off of ledges into dark passages underneath that I have no idea where they led.
Yeah, unaccompanied minors should not be exploring our nation's sewers.
No, the 80s were a different time, my friends. The 80s and the early 90s. My mom said, get out of the house when the street lights turn off and come back when they turn back on.
I'm just cracking up over that long drawn out process of finding the sewers, and then I don't want to drag this out too much. I almost died a couple times. That's not fun.
Yeah, I skip over the interesting part to tell you yeah. Well.
So let's actually let Jamie, because we're gushing about this. Let's let Jamie talk about her thoughts on it. I think that's the most interesting thing, probably.
Yeah, give us the complicated, the bad, the good. I mean,
Okay.
we already know
it's not bad. It's not bad, but it is so 90s it hurts. Like, this movie is so late 80s, early 90s. Hair, the music, the title cards, all of it.
The casual homophobia.
Right.
Is there any of that in that movie?
Yeah, where he says, you're
not
claustrophobic.
you're claustrophobic.
I've never even looked at a man that way.
Oh, yeah.
Claustrophobic.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you look at the cast list, because obviously when you can't see half the faces of the actors, you kind of want to know who's behind there. And you have Scott Wolf, Skeet Ulrich, Corey Feldman, Sam Rockwell. They're all in this movie, and they would all like be huge.
Judith
in the
Hogue.
90s.
I mean, she might not be as big as of a name as the others, but she's wonderful too.
Mm-hmm.
She's only
Elias
big to you and me
Kotis?
because she's April O'Neil Kelly. That's the only reason we know who Judith Hogue is. I'm sure.
Like,
My sexuality took a huge jump when this movie, April O'Neil not wearing a bra, getting a back rub by Casey Jones, was a huge sexual awakening moment for me. That's all.
And ever since then, Kelly's hit on every woman by trying to give a back rub to them.
No, I will say up until the age of 22, there wasn't a time that I didn't offer to give somebody a back rub if I was interested in them, because that's kind of how that's how I learned you do things. You rub their back.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Things progress from there.
Right.
Hey, you wanna get out of the city and go to this old farmhouse I got? And
It's
get a back
falling
rub?
around.
You want to meet
Falling
some
down around your
radioactive amphibians? Hey, let me show you my turtle.
Oh God. Oh no.
Don't worry, that will pop. Never mind. I'm just gonna.
No, stop.
Get away with it!
I was talking about a literal turtle, you dirty motherfuckers. You ruin everything.
Sure.
Smells like a turtle tank in here.
God.
Okay, Jamie, please continue.
I also really loved how even when he was relaxing alone watching a room full of TVs, Shredder was still wearing his helmet.
Oh yeah, it's like
Fuck yeah, dude, he's Darth Vader.
it's cool points.
I mean, super Darth Vader, like the whole "I am your father." It sounded just like Darth Vader. That was hilarious.
You are here because the outside world rejects you. This is your family. I am your father.
Hey, all I'm saying is that in that room, obviously, some of his henchmen can come find him, like, because Tetsuo comes in that room, so it's not like it's completely closed off. And I had an ex-girlfriend of mine that, I mean, I totally understood, so I'm not saying this in any kind of mocking way, but she literally would not go to the store without putting makeup on because people would treat her so fucking differently. So, like, if my ex would go through 20 minutes of makeup to go to the fucking store to get, you know, a pack of toilet paper, then I believe Shredder would sit there and watch TV with his fucking helmet on if his henchmen could come into the room.
You gotta keep up appearances. They can't see him without his helmet on, then he's not Shredder anymore.
I'm not comparing my ex-girlfriend to Shredder, for the record, although they do share some sharpness in areas.
All right, please let Jamie speak.
Sorry.
The origin story graphics, like the puppetry / whatever the hell that was at the time.
Radical.
Mm-hmm.
That was nuts.
I believe that's stop motion.
Yeah, with puppets. I think, and real turtles.
Pizza.
Oh my god, that pizza thing, I hear that in my head to this day when somebody says, hey, you want some pizza? Pizza.
Radical.
I feel like that was somebody's coke-fueled fever dream. Like, it was
Oh, absolutely.
weird and bizarre.
That's why looking back on it as adult, this was a really good lesson for me to understand how, like, commercialism invades your brain. Because to me, this was totally normal. This story of these 4 turtles getting stuck in the radioactive waste, it was no different than Superman landing from the planet Krypton and all that stuff. It's just a fantastic story that got us here. But then when I step outside the fandom for just a minute and I look at it, I'm like, this is fucking absurd. You're absolutely right. This is like a fever dream while you're on LSD. Like you've got a fever and you're tripping balls at the same time when you write this kind of story. It's just, and it doesn't, honestly, the premise doesn't hold up a lot. Like, this rat was learning ninjutsu from watching a human do kata in his room. Like, none of this makes sense, but I fucking love it anyway.
Ain't that kind of movie.
Yeah,
kid.
exactly.
It's a little Orientalism. There we go. There's the word.
Oh, absolutely. Written by 2 white guys, as far as I remember, right? Laird and Eastman, they're both just white guys, so.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And there's a lot of white actors dubbing over voices, so you did check that out too.
And you know what? And this is maybe a good example of like benign Orientalism kind of thing. Like they didn't mean it in a bad way. It if anything, it shows a little bit of respect towards some Eastern cultures, even though it's probably very ignorant in a lot of ways. But I don't know. It doesn't feel. They're not pushing negative stereotypes about Asian people.
It's not
and stuff.
yucky.
Yeah, it doesn't set off the ick meter. It sends off the you should have probably brought on some people that studied Asian history to write this. But they were just doing a little stupid skit once upon a time.
It kind of harkens back to the Mummy and the same sort of concept there. Like, it's not really icky, but it's not really good.
Yeah, in a perfect world, you would have done things a little bit differently, but whatever.
At least Shredder was like an Asian actor. You know what I mean? They went that far.
And,
they had
and
Asian
he was the
actors in
voice
Asian
actor
roles.
for that role too.
Can we talk about the fact that this man, Hamato Yoshi? No, that was the good guy. What's his? Rokusaki, the guy that plays, the guy that becomes the Shredder. Can we talk about how he's like a master assassin and a master of ninjutsu, and he can kill Hamato Yoshi and his wife, but then when he swings at a rat, all he gets is a part of its ear. And he can't hit a fucking rat to save his life. And it's not even like Splinter said, I dodged. He just stood there and took it, and he just missed. How do you hit a rat on a rat's ear with a sword? Oh my god.
Were you not paying attention? That rat knows ninjutsu.
Oh, my bad.
Also, were you not paying attention to the fact that he's the one that trained all the foot soldiers that couldn't hit a tree in a forest. So
Yeah, I mean, they do a lot of chopping at thin air whenever you... But this is one of those classic movies where I learned the watch the bad guy technique. If you want an action scene to be ruined for you, don't look at the hero. Purposely cover up the hero with your hand or something. Just watch the bad guys. And this is horrible at that. They just stand there and go, huh, 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 and then they dive in and swing at thin air that's so far away from the hero that it makes no sense. And then the hero kicks them once lightly and they go, oh, and they fall off to the side. It's so bad.
you know when you find something really awesome and you just want to like tell everybody about it?
Like a cool rock.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Or
I
a
think we
great
all know that
movie.
feeling.
A nice stick.
Well, that could be us, and you could share us with all your friends.
I want to share the rock, but I don't want to share the stick. Am I a weirdo that way? Like, I want to show you my rock, but my stick, you can't touch it.
That's not...
Sounds
Well,
dirty.
Why do you do this?
what I want you to do, bud, is get yourself a tape recorder and just go ahead and record
Yeah.
yourself for a whole day.
You'd be surprised at some of your phrasing.
If my life was geared around the idea of don't let anybody touch my stick, it would have turned out differently. Let's just say that.
Right?
You should find cool rocks and share them with your local bank and Starbucks windows.
No, please don't. Please don't.
With the current
my
state of
advice.
the world, don't invite in that kind of attention to yourself.
right.
Just get your coffee and move on.
Yeah. Wink, wink.
So let's say you listen to one of our episodes and you enjoy hearing what you heard, or you dislike what you heard. The best place to go about talking about this is on YouTube, is on Blue Sky, is on Insta, is on Facebook. But aside from these social medias, you know where we have the most meaningful conversations with our fans?
Well, that would be Discord. They're your favorite place on the internet to go rant and rave, possibly besides Reddit. We know y'all have one already. So why not just come be a part of ours? You can be like me and you can have like, I don't know, let me look right now. I'm looking, I have possibly like 7 to 12 like fandom Discords I'm in that I just ignore.
Exactly.
Come do that.
And I realized that I called our listeners fans, and all of a sudden I'm reminded that it's the relationship between us and our listeners is less of like a star and a fan, and more of like we're like an elderly person, and we're being helped down the street by the people that are nice enough to listen to the podcast. That's a bit more of an appropriate.
It's like, okay, we're talking today about Lady Hawk. Yeah, okay, Grandpa, let's get you back in bed.
Interspecies erotica.
Oh God, they're doing the Muppet thing again.
But you could also review us at any of the places you can find a podcast. And we'd love to see your review. And if you do review us, we will read it on air.
Oh, yeah, speaking of Kelly, I believe we have a brand new shiny review for you to read for us. Everyone gather around.
This review was given a while ago. I just don't think we ever got to reading it for everybody. And once you see what the review is about, you'll understand why. It's important for us to have this kind of message get out there in the world. And the review goes like this. They give us 5 out of 5 stars. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it says, the Screen Share and Chill podcast is the podcast I've always wanted to start myself. One of the few things I love more than movies is talking about them with fun people. The hosts are great and complement each other well. The pacing is also nice. Kelly has a very nice listening voice with a smiley face emoji.
Okay, now here's the thing, dear listener. You cannot tell Kelly this kind of thing. His head is already like so big he can't make it out of his apartment door. So
if I lean too far to one side, it just kind of topples over and I land on the ground. It's hard for me to get back up.
Wonderful review. Thank you for that. But let's not do any more like that.
Don't feed
let's
the
give
bears.
some compliments to
Or
me and Jamie.
Kelly has anxiety, and and he's an artist, so any compliment you give him just gets soaked up like a dried out leaf soaking up water from the soil. So please keep the compliments coming. But that was very nice. That was a very nice review. So thank you very much for that. Would you like us to read your words? And you know what? Don't think that we'll only read the 5-star reviews. If you give us a 1-star review, I'll fucking read it. Don't even.
I
try
can't
me.
wait.
Don't even try.
I can't
me.
wait for the first negative review for us.
Yeah, we got a 1-star, but they didn't actually leave any text. They just gave us a 1-star review.
Yeah,
And I'm
boring.
like, what a wasted opportunity. Yeah, right? So as long as it's not illegal, we'll read it on the air. If you like openly dox us, I'm not reading my
Anyway,
social security number or
give us
anything.
some money, huh? We know you got some. Half of you people out there, it's just falling out of your pockets. So like, why not just give us some? Rent us a movie. Rent us a movie.
Yeah.
It costs.
Believe it or not, this costs money. It costs us money to put on this. Not only does it cost us money, but we put a lot of time into it. We try to make a really good product for you. So, help us out. We're independent, small-time content creators. If you're enjoying our show, toss us $5, toss us $10. Hell, buy us a trip to Cancun. I've never been to Cancun. That would be nice,
Yeah, do you have your passport? Because you have to have your passport.
Yeah, who am I kidding? I can't leave the country. And
Key
come back
West.
safely.
Key West is in this country. That's a nice place. We'll take Key West.
Besides, if depending on when you go to Cancun, like if it's during the winter, you have a 50-50 chance of running into Ted Cruz. Oh, but you're supposed to give us money on Ko-Fi. We didn't say Ko-Fi.
Yeah, Ko-Fi.com/screenshare. That's probably an important part of doing an ad. We are such professionals.
Yes.
We are so good at this.
Consummate
Cue Christian
professionals.
Bale.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for listening to us, and we're sorry to interrupt your episode to do this. We don't enjoy doing this any more than you enjoy listening to it, but we got to get the word out there.
That's
we
a good one,
we
Kelly.
got to get more people.
Let them know how much we hate doing this.
Yeah, you know what? This little conversation we had, I regret every moment of it just because I hate... Yeah, believe that. Believe me, I hate talking on the mic. I never, ever want to do that.
And now back to the show.
I just want to point out the biggest. I'm sorry, Jamie, but I have to get this out. The biggest clue that two white Americans wrote this is that the two Japanese characters' last names are Yoshi and Saki. It's like, what's the Japanese word and name that I know? Yoshi and Saki.
And the emblem, it's a symbol for Oni, which is demon. So I don't know what.
Well, that kind of goes into this story with the turtles because they called them demons and kappa. The Japanese word for, like, that's what the Foot Clan saw the turtles as, is vengeful spirits, until they learned that they were actual mutant turtles in the comic books.
Yeah, I mean, you can connect it, but
yeah.
What were you
Anyway,
saying, Jamie?
sorry, Jamie.
I'm so sorry, Jamie.
No, it's okay.
I guess
I'm
you
just
knew
gonna
what
sit
you were
here.
signing
You
up
guys
for
can
with
just
this,
talk,
but-
and I'll just interject. Haha, and oh yeah, in the
No. please tell us more of your because I am curious. Like, what are the parts that land for you as a non-turtle fan to begin with, and what are the parts that don't land for you?
Like, it's a movie for me. Like, it wasn't a waste of time, but it wasn't something that I'd watch. It's not something I'm going to watch every month, week, year. Like, it's something that I would watch, when somebody else wants to watch it. I'll be like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But I did enjoy that during April's cover of the story where she's like, who could help us? Unfortunately, the police are the only people we can call.
Yeah, she is spicy towards the police, and yeah. I will say this time around, I was much more aware, and I don't know why childhood me didn't pick up on this, but like the blackmail scheme between the cops and the head of the news station. Yeah. When I was a kid, I didn't connect that, and I thought that the police chief was just yelling at the host, or the president of the station. So that's why the president of the station fired April, because he was tired of getting yelled at. I didn't realize, no, he was blackmailing him with his son's criminal record. He was saying, if you get rid of April and get her off my ass, then your son doesn't have a criminal record anymore. Wow, what great cops we have in this world. They don't actually do anything to try to solve the crime. They just get in the hero's way and blackmail innocent parties.
And make sure that they don't look bad.
And this is a kid's movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shows you, like, you don't have to have Paw Patrol and pro-fascist... Never mind, I'm getting off track, so...
Go ahead, getting on a rant.
But what I started to say about the violence and stuff like that is, you're talking about, like, sharp-edged weapons and stuff. Casey takes a golf club full swing to somebody's head.
Oh,
Fuck yeah, he does.
Oh, yeah. That would turn your head into fucking putty. That you would be...
But it just makes the guy fly across the room.
Fruit salad on the wall is what your brain would be.
No. He flew across the room. That teenager was dead, I assure you.
He wouldn't have flown across the room, though. His head just would have basically exploded.
Yeah, it would have snapped back so fast, and his cranium would have fucking, it would have been Gallagher.
Pieces.
Front row of Gallagher. That's all I'm going to say. If you know, you know.
That's your beef with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, is that it was unrealistic.
No, it wasn't beef. It wasn't beef.
Yeah.
It was just... It was literally like the shock of like when I saw it, what was happening, and I was like, "Oh my god, he's gonna take a golf club to somebody's head."
Even as a child, I knew that didn't make any sense. I'm like, I don't really do much golfing, but I think if you hit somebody with a driver in the face, I think you explode their entire skull.
Like the bats are one thing; they're a little bit blunter, they're a little more surface area. But a driver is going to do some serious damage.
Yeah, it's basic physics. All of that momentum and energy is placed into that tiny little ball on the end of the stick on a huge arc. You know, there's so much pressure
and it's
being
metal,
put there.
and it's yeah.
It's made to push whatever it hits forward as fast as it can. Like it's got a little bit of give, like a spring action to it. Oh, you could devastate. I mean, a golf club isn't a great weapon because you can bend it really easily if you don't hit it right on. But if you hit it right on, Jesus Christ, you would kill a person. Easy. Like a child could kill an adult with one of those kind of easy.
Children, don't take that and run with it.
I'm going to try and manage this a little towards the end here. So, Jamie, give me some highlights. That can be positive or negative, but what stands out to you? What's your big things that stand out the most?
That it does a good job of doing the jokes that kind of fly over kids' heads, as you guys kind of already illustrated, which is necessary. That adults can enjoy the movie as well as kids enjoying the movie. That was good. Elias Koteas is hot, and I remember loving Casey when the movie first came out, so...
He's a 90s look. He's very 90s look. I knew a lot of guys that wanted to look like that, and with that kind of style and everything, but none of us were hot enough to pull it off kind of thing.
Yeah. And you know, it's always fun. Like, the turtles are fun. They're not serious. They're just fun little surfer dudes that live in a sewer. No sense that they're surfer dudes either, but whatever. And
well, there's, you know, sewer surfing is what they called it, even though they were on skateboards.
Right.
So, yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah, I got to tell you, as somebody that's been in the sewers, they're not that big. At least not in Detroit.
Yeah. It's you know, it's because they were exposed to so much TV. There were a lot of surfer dudes that lived in Michigan and they weren't surfing. So, you know, it rolls with that time.
A couple little trivia bits that I wasn't even fully aware of some of these before. Did you know that at the time, Judith Hoag was also starring in Cadillac Man with Robin Williams? Robin Williams was a huge fan of the comic book franchise and gave her a lot of tips on how to play April the way that she was presented in the comic book if she wanted to stay true to it.
Fuck, Robin Williams is so cool. Dude played like Zelda and...
Yeah.
TMNT.
Like he got, like, I feel like I could have a conversation, like a sit down nerd out conversation with Robin Williams that would never touch on his career at all. It would just be he and I nerding out about a bunch of different topics. Such a cool human being. Such a loss to humanity as a whole. But
I can't even imagine a room with the two of you going and talking. It'd be endless.
Yeah, I might have to leave the room.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now that I would do my best, my absolute best, to shut the fuck up and let the master talk. Like I love chatting, and yes, but if I'm sitting there talking to Robin Williams, I'm going to try to like button my mouth, staple my lips together, whatever I got to do to listen to that motherfucker. Because yeah.
Kelly, give me your highlight, like the main things you want to say about this movie. Give me your highlights.
I know you're wanting to push to the end. I get you. I hear you barking, dog. But I got a couple things I want to touch on for sure. I just found out that the turtle costumes, they ended up framing all the scenes at 22 or 23 frames per second because the turtle costumes were still a little unwieldy. So then they sped them up to 24, and that's where people would dub their lines over it and such like that. I thought that was interesting. I didn't know that before.
Smart.
Judith Hoag didn't come back for the next two movies because she didn't care for the 6-day shooting schedule and the movie's violence, which I thought that was okay. I would have gone with a little bit more violence. Days. I mean, there are a couple of scenes where there is actually blood, and it shouldn't have been with the rating they got, because I think they got PG. But either way, there was more violence in this than people expected, and that's why in the next two movies you see that they don't use their weapons in fights and such, because they had to tone down the violence because it was more geared towards kids. And coincidentally, they lost almost everybody I know. I don't know many people in my life that say, yeah, 2 was good, 3 was good. No, everybody likes the first one, and the rest of them have been kind of bad until they reinvented themselves later on.
I liked 2, but it's a kid's movie. I liked it as a child. I can't sit down as a grown up and take it seriously.
As somebody that I watched the first one and I wanted more of that was a huge disappointment. That was The biggest sequel disappointment I experienced in my life was going to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. That movie was fucking horrible. And I even liked Vanilla Ice. So I was like, okay, Vanilla Ice, go Ninja, go. All right, I can get on board with this. And then I saw the movie and I was like, no Ninja, no.
So I think the difference between me and you there is that by that time I had actually gotten into the old and the comics and the collected graphic novels, and they were still coming out. So I had that to go back to that. And as I understand it, you didn't really read. You liked comic book stories, but you didn't really read comic books. Is that correct?
Yeah, I didn't, the way that comic books are set up with my brain, I'd rather read a regular book, or watch a movie. Comic books are weird. I always skip ahead visually, whether I like it or not, and it's hard for me to read them. So I would always have friends of mine in the 90s that would read the comic books, and then we'd meet after school and eat snacks, and they would summarize the events in the comic book to keep me up to pace. So like during the X-Men Blue and Gold days, when Wolverine and Jean Grey first started experiencing that whole love triangle thing, I was like hanging on the edge of my seat with my friends explaining it to me. But yeah, for this movie, I only had the cartoon, the 80s cartoon and please, Keith, I beg of you, include some of the theme music for this movie when you're doing the edit.
Absolutely.
Like,
and from the video game, we're going to have shell shock, all that stuff.
Please, as much as, and we'll keep it short, and that'll be the deal I'm making with you now. I will keep my rambling short, but add as many of those, because even like the opening credit scene music for this movie was great. The TURTLE power at the end of the movie, I fucking love that song too. The music where Shredder comes out with that droning drum beat in the background and the heavy metal, very 90s guitar on top of it. Oh, it's such good music all around in this franchise. So, yeah, it changed my view. This was the first really good comic book movie I had seen, other than like Batman and this one were the first two where I was like, holy shit, we can do this. And then 2 came out and I was like, oh no, they didn't do it. But there are a lot of other good Turtles movies that we've talked about maybe reviewing on the channel too, like, the TMNT crossover where the 3 different groups of turtles go on an adventure together. There's also Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles meet Batman, and I've heard that even though it's such a weird crossover, like people say it's one of the best pieces of Batman media and Turtles media combined. So I'm like, okay, so I've been holding off just in case we want to watch that as a group. But let us know, like if these sound interesting to you and you want to hear more Turtles talk, let us know. If you don't say anything, then we'll know that you don't really give a fuck about the Turtles, and that's fine. That's fine.
All right, any other highlights, any other points that you want to really feel strongly about?
No, I wanted to get one of these suits when I was younger. I thought that was a viable option. There was a part of me that wanted to get one of these suits and fight crime in the streets of Detroit, even though I was not trained in nujitsu. I went to music I had to take piano lessons. That's the kind of stuff that I was trained in.
You could have hit him with the piano.
They're very difficult to carry on your back.
Have you seen what they look like now? Like the preserved suits. It's like fucking Five Nights at Freddy's like horror show. Fucking the eyelids have like peeled away and the teeth are all exposed.
Yeah, like the Michael Bay Turtles are so hard looking that it's hard. They look like the military version of the Turtles, and I'm like, no, I'm not interested. They're supposed to be like, there is a hardness to them, but it's the hardness that comes from working out, not from being buff and huge. And I don't know, it's a subtle difference, but.
Well, I'll just want to hit on my highlights.
Oh yeah, do it up.
With me from this movie. They act like teenagers, which is wonderful. They're horny. They're like all about April O'Neil. Well, it's pretty hilarious.
April O'Neil is really hot in this movie, so I can see it.
they're like fighting over her, you know, and like not fighting, but you
Right,
know,
like-
they're arguing and like, you know, fucking
She's
with
mine.
each other
No,
about
she's
it.
mine. Ooh,
And
she said
she
your
talked to me.
name.
when Raphael at the very beginning loses his sight, he keeps saying "damn." You know, my child mind, I was like, "Damn!"
That was a controversy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, "Oh my god." He's so pissed off. He's so angry. He's just like me.
Yeah. And that was the
I relate.
controversy. That's when parents were like taking their kids and walking out of the theater because this was supposed to be a kids movie, and he said, "Damn!" And I'm like, now they just say that on fucking network TV all the time. They're a hair away from ass just being an everyday word on NBC. So.
Right.
Right.
Shit comes through on like the regular cable.
Right.
Really? Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like-
So
yeah, it's a
whatever.
completely different world.
I gotta say with that, like, it cracked me up because it's totally like exactly what a first swear word would be for a kid too. That would be the one to go to, like, damn it!
Yeah,
And it would be used wrong, like, take out the garbage. Damn no!
Yeah.
In today's, if this movie was made today, Raphael would be like, "Fuck!" You know, like,
Yeah.
I lost
What
my
the
fucking
fuck,
sight.
man? It's fucking bullshit.
When he gets his fucking ass beat by the Foot Clan on the roof of April's apartment,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
brutal, epic ass beating.
They're kicking the shit out of him.
him. He's like he's in a fucking coma, and that whole scene is amazing. I
Which
love
leads
everything to do with that.
one of the most terrifying visuals that if you now know that it's there, it will freak you out. I'm talking about the face in the face, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, you can see through the mouth.
Jamie, do you know what I'm talking
face.
about?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I am going to link you face in face, I think is what. Yeah, here's the image. I will send you. There's a scene where Raphael comes back to life and he's super happy or everybody's super happy because Raphael's alive again. And, Donatello is standing in the doorway and he says, "It's a Kodak moment." And then he rears his head back in laughter. And when he does so, you can see that there's a face inside of his mouth. I'm going to link that in our podcast chat.
It's more Five Nights at Freddy's style terror.
It's got eyes and a mouth and everything.
And a nose, yep.
They say
smushed.
They say that that's the actor in the suit, and I'm like, that doesn't look like a human. What race, what species of being did you get to pilot these turtles?
It looks like it's a human if you smashed their face with an iron. Like, it's flat.
With a golf club. Yeah, this looks like what a human would look like after a golf club. But it is terrifying now that you know it's there.
I tear up to this day at the scene where Splinter's astral projects his Force Ghost to the turtles in the fire and calls them all his sons.
All fathers care for their sons.
Yeah.
I get misty eyed.
I get even a little bit
talking rat.
Yeah, now knowing this story and like older in life, I guess I get more teared up at the scene early on when Splinter's waiting for Raphael to come home and he says, you know, unlike your brothers, you choose to face all these feelings alone, and I just want you to know I'm here for you. And the way he says it is just, it's so wholesome, and it connects with it told Raphael what he needed to hear. Like, Splinter didn't yell at him, he didn't chastise him, he didn't give him the cold shoulder, he just said, "Hey, you don't have to do this alone. I love you. I'm here." And it was it was good parenting on screen, and I recognized it, and to this day, I love that. That was such a good connection.
I know they aren't perfect, but for the time, I think the suits are an incredible achievement of.
I loved them.
Like, how do you do this? That's
Jim Henson. That's how you do it.
Jim Henson for you. Exactly. It's fucking great. The rooftop shredder fight scene, which is directly from the comic books, how they're all like, "Okay, you try," you know, like they're each testing him and getting their asses handed to him. It's like, all right, together now, and then they all get beat again. Maybe that's because it's a depicted scene from the comics that I like that so much, because I don't know, I could see how it could be cheesy and if you don't have that background, but I love it. And
Leonardo,
then Casey Jones
Raphael
fucking crushes him in the fucking,
oh yeah, completely kills
in the
Shredder.
dumpster.
Yep.
Yeah.
Leonardo and
Obviously
Raphael
not,
are the
'cause
only
Shredder
two.
is back in too.
Yeah, but if this movie if that's all you're taking, self-contained, they literally show his helmet. Like,
he died.
He's-
He died.
yeah.
That was pretty gruesome for the end. But I think that held true to the Eastman Laird original story. That everybody thinks of the Splinter
absolutely.
as this long-standing enemy of the Turtles. Whereas in the comic books, from what I understand, the Splinter was their first big enemy, and that's how they came
Shredder.
into being, was
Shredder.
killing the
Don't-
Shredder.
You're doing Splinter blasphemy.
Shredder. I'm sorry. Yeah, Shredder was their supposed enemy throughout like a long time. When in reality, that was their first nemesis, and they took him down pretty quickly. And then their further adventures are where all their characteristics and other storylines erupted. But
He does come back. He gets infested with these weird zombie worm things and comes back as undead Shredder. So
I don't know. It kind of works as a story just as it is. Like, I don't even need to see
does.
more of them. It's kind of like the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Like, I'm okay with him just being a guy that trolls the neighborhood and keeps the people in his borough safe. That's fine. I wish we had that in every city.
So that's 1990 TMNT movie. What a ride! If you have seen it, you know what we're talking about.
Did
if
you know-
haven't, go watch it.
Did you know that they nunchucks, as the movie calls them, but nunchaku or whatever the term you use for them? I've heard the old people say numchucks, but whatever. Those were so popular after this that they ended up getting banned in a lot of martial arts stores and competitions and stuff like that. And they purposely, by the third movie, they took them out of Michelangelo's hands completely, and they wouldn't let him use them in the movies ever because so many kids were hitting themselves in the fucking face and the nuts with fucking wood.
Guess what? I was one of those kids.
To this day, I have a pair hanging just about 10 feet away from me, and if I pick them up, I can still do a little bit of chucking.
Oh, a fellow chucker, eh?
I never
And by
got a
chucking, you mean
sigh.
hitting yourself in the nuts and face.
No, and I was such a big fan, and I did a few times, but you start with the foam ones, and then you pick yourself up to the wooden ones and stuff like that. You use weighted ones to get your arm strength up, and But to this day, I prefer like fighting with like a Joe staff or bow staff or something like that, because I practiced with these weapons as a kid because that's what I thought I had to do to be one of their allies someday.
Dude, I'm exactly the same. I had nunchucks. I was enamored with the fighting style of bow staff because of the Turtles. I thought that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I never got, but I always wanted a pair of crossed sai on my wall.
Those always seemed like the worst out of the four weapons, didn't they? Like, Raphael was always at a disadvantage because he just had these little fucking knives kind of thing. And they weren't even sharp knives.
But they're meant, see, Kelly, where you're mistaken is they are meant to like block swords and blades, you know, you catch them in there and push them out the way.
But it's the kind of
stab
thing
with
that
the
a
other one.
farmer uses because they can't get their hands on anything else, so you learn how to do the best with what you got. For somebody to choose it later is a little, you know.
I'm just saying that this movie is the perfect encapsulation of how different people and women and men mature over time. As Kelly was playing in the sewers trying to find the turtles while I was babysitting, and I'm younger than Kelly.
Right.
Yeah, I was an only child, so I got away with not having to baby. And all my cousins were older than me. I was kind of the baby of the family because both of my parents were the babies of their respective families. So I didn't have to watch anybody. And conversely, nobody gave a fuck what I did. So I just went and did. I chased ghosts, ran in sewers, broke into churches. I played video games.
Red Fortunes, all the common kid stuff.
Oh, that was when I was
Kelly,
18, 19.
Why don't you lead us out with all the important business?
Are you professional or not?
Important business. We're not doing the three questions for this, are we? Oh yeah, I'm kind of curious with the Muppet question though, real quick. Who would be the human in this? I'm thinking Casey Jones.
Yeah.
Because he gets so frustrated with everybody, and then him beating the shit out of Raph has an extra comedic element to it.
Does it though? Because I mean, like, he's already beaten the shit out of a Muppet. Him giving a back massage to Miss Piggy though would be hilarious.
Do we give this like a pass because it's halfway a Muppet movie to begin with?
No. April is the only human, and then she falls in love with a Muppet.
Oh,
That's how that
perfect.
has to work.
So is Casey
Muppet
Jones
giving back
Gonzo then,
rubs?
or is that
yes, Gonzo is 100%. No, 100% Gonzo.
Gonzo gets the girl. But April is not a chicken. That is not consistent with the lore as we understand it.
It doesn't say that he's excited about it. Like, he could be like, well, I guess, I suppose.
We know the answer.
Did you wear these feathers?
We know the answer for Keith and I. So, Jamie, just overall thumbs up, thumbs down?
Thumbs up. It was a movie.
Cool. Well, obviously, I'm sure Keith and I would both agree with you, so.
I wasn't sad that I spent money to watch it, and I wasn't sad that I watched it, so.
Cool.
2 thumbs up when I walked out of this movie.
Dude.
2 cowabungas. I loudly exclaimed to my mother, who took me to see this movie. I was like, "This movie's gonna win all the Oscars," and she went, "Oh God!" and started.
Oh, you sweet summer child!
Yeah.
Well, hey, but you know what? You were justified later in life. You were vindicated because it is widely accepted as one of the best comic book to movie adaptations like ever, pretty much. So, yeah.
Great movie. Go see it if you haven't. If you have, watch it again. It's about time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, everybody, that wraps up our discussion on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie. We are Screen Share and Chill. I'm Keith.
I'm Kelly.
I'm Jamie.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Don't go exploring the sewers unaccompanied, especially if you are a minor. Don't do that. That's bad.
Cowabunga! I made a funny.
Oh, boo. I'm not going to edit that out. I'm going to let everyone hear it.
Boo! Boo! Rubbish! Filth! Slime! Muck! Boo! Boo! Boo!